So traders, right now, stock market still very, 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 very strong. I hope you learned the lessons from what actually happened in the last few months around these markets. Also, oil, to me, is about to get crushed. Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, traders, so let's get straight into it. If you do need some help, guys, grab access to that free training. See the free training on the screen right now. That's an actual training, me teaching you my actual trading system. If you do need my help, guys, I'm teaching you that for free. So let's get into the S&P 500. So S&P 500 has had a very, 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 very strong bounce from here. And as you guys would know, that as this market was coming down, and you've watched my videos over the last month, you would know that this bounce I was expecting. Not only was I expecting, but my money is where my mouth is, and I'm actually in the indices right now. I'm long the indices, right? So it's not just me doing some commentary. Like, no, my money's where my mouth is, and things are looking pretty good on that front there. Okay, actually, I'm very, very happy the way the things are setting up there. So anyway, so the purpose of me saying that there, guys, is that when it comes down to the indices, there was so many things that we can actually learn about what actually happened here, and I hope you can see, like, my whole thing about this is that. If you rewind back about what actually happened in these markets, right? So what actually happened? Market had a really big drop to the downside. People freaked out. People went down this rabbit hole of why the market's dropping. Carry trade Japan, fear. Recession coming, stock market crash, And everything was wrong. Because what was right? It was just a correction in a big bull market, and away we go again. So I really want you to be able to learn from these lessons here. If you want to become part of this thing called trading, this trading world, right? One thing I've learned over my last years is that there are things we can follow that actually help us make money, do really well out of trading. And then there's everything else that's total bullshit. Which means it's not going to help us lose money, not going to help us make money. In fact, it's probably going to help us only go backwards. Confused? Spending a lot of time on it, and at the end of the day, you blow your account up. Because when you go and think about this, guys, a lot of people lost a lot of money shorting this market. A lot of people lost a lot of money shorting this market. Why? Because they thought, big key here, they thought everything that was coming out about recession, Japan, carry trade, inverted yield curve, all that sort of stuff, this was the start of the big bang in the market, right? And this is where, like, I'm trying to share with you is that if we focus on the things that's most important to us is, and what actually does matter in the markets. And as you can see, if there's 10 things that you looked at in this market crash, I looked at one thing that helped me get ready for this strong bounce. And what was that? You spent all this time going down, carry trade and all this sort of stuff. Okay, I just said, okay, we're getting a really big correction here right now. Is it just going to be that? Is it just going to be a correction there? And if we could just step back here, my whole thing here, guys, is I really want you to do really well out of the markets, right? And there are one take. I sneezed. There are things that I realized in my own personal trading that I have to start to become good at. If I actually want to become good at this thing called trading world, then I can do what 90% of people do in the markets. And if you do that, you're going to get what they get. And what is that? They end up losing money. They end up blowing up their accounts. They end up going backwards, right? Or you can start to do what the top 5% do, right? And then once you start to understand that, if there's a big... Most people, 90% of people out there were doing what? Fear, stock market crash, even some really amazing... Be careful what I say there. Oh my goodness. The flip-flop from so many people out there, especially some really famous YouTubers you guys are probably following right now, right? Massive flip-flop. Not me. I'm steadfast. The trend's up, we go through corrections, and then we continue the trend. The end. Who cares about all this other crap, right? Simplify the process. Now, again, that's if you actually want to start to do really well out of trading, is just understand how these markets work on a deeper level and understand that, as you can just see, what this was what? It was just a correction in the markets, which is what I call an energy building phase, because we go through the energy building phases. Okay? We go up and then we go through a bit of a correction. Higher, low. All right, higher, low, upward trend. Yes, we know that, John. Okay, so if that was the case, that was the low. This still could be a higher low. If you know the trend is your friend until the end, and you actually understand what an actual trend is, then the only thing you'll be looking at right now is the weekly chart and saying, well, the trend's still up because we're still making, this still could just be another higher low. The end, right? But most people go down, and unfortunately, most people lose money. And a lot of people lost a lot of money by shorting this market because they went down a rabbit hole. And I understand, guys, like 20 years ago, guys, I went from a landscape gardening background. I went from a landscape gardening background to then entering the field of finances, stock market and stuff. Like, what the hell? I'm used to shovel and wheelbarrow and hoe and rockeries, right? Remember back in the days, they used to make rockery gardens. Not anymore. They're more like, anyway. So retaining walls, grass, sprinkling systems, plants, all that sort of stuff, right? That's where I came from. Not stock market. Like, what the hell's a stock market? So because I've pushed through my last 20 years and looking back, I start to see that the most important things I should be focusing on, and what allowed me to tell you guys, just by something simple as traders, the trend's up and this is just a correction. Most of you guys are calling the top in the markets. And by you actually having that approach, you can see that if you try to call the tops in, 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 through the last couple of years, guess what? You have been wrong 100% of the time. Where if you just say, okay, we're going through a pullback and we're probably going to continue the trend, you would have been right 100% of the time. Why? Because we're just making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And this is where traders, if you are approaching the markets with a top and bottom strategy, I'm trying to pick the bottom, I'm trying to pick the reversal, or I'm trying to pick the reversal at the top. Why? You're making life so much harder for yourself. Trading is hard enough, right? Trading is hard enough because, one, you've got to have a strategy that you focus on. That's probably the first port of call you're probably struggling right now with, right? You're not even focusing on one approach. Like, I promise you guys, I was telling my live room today, and one of my coaching clients, or actually a few of my coaching clients, it's just amazing, right? They're taking trades on oil and the forex market and silver and again, oil market last night as well too, right? And we're taking trades on the stock market, but it's all the same one type of setup, right? It's not 1,000 different types of setups. So the whole thing about that, guys, is that so many of you guys, like, you're not even focusing on one setup. You're not even focusing on a setup. You're going to the markets. And I always said to the guy, I actually was saying to the guys in the room today, and if you're interested in becoming part of that group, which is a small group every day, where you're with me, you see what I'm doing and so on and so forth, then link in the description there, guys. Click on that, go fill out the application form, and I'll personally call you. This is where I'm actually with you every day. You're seeing what I'm doing in the market every day, what sort of positions I'm taking and so on and so forth, and then I'm there coaching you every single day. Right? To get this right, to get your thinking right, to get your approach right, to get the foundation right. Because I was saying to the guys today, I said, traders, one of the things, and they've been with me for the entire year, I'm like, one of the things that I do, guys, is that my job as a coach is to teach you things. And I honestly believe this. I said, my job as a coach is to be able to teach you strategies, processes, systems, processes, mindset strategies, emotional management, all that sort of stuff. To where my goal is that, over the next 10 years, you've made at least $1 million from the stuff that I teach you. That's my goal as a coach, right? That's what I do. And you know what? And one of my coaching clients today, Des, he came on the microphone and he actually said, well, I'm going to do that. That's going to be easy, right? It's actually actually a low target. $1 million over the next 10 years. That's only $100,000 a year. Right? But once you start to understand the processes that, guys, we just look for the same thing. There's been trades recently on oil, couple of trades on oil. some of the foreign exchange markets, some silver trades, silver setups there as well too. Even on the stock market right now, right? I had a small loss today, but I'm in two really amazing trades right now. One of them is just an amazing high quality trade that like over 95% of the time it does really well and it makes a big move. And guess what's happening already? Over the last 5 days, boom, 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 right? So again, that's the trade that I'm in right now. But I'm trying to share with you, I'm trying to show you yourself that, you know, I'm really bringing this back to the actual stock market itself right now, is that if you actually want to do well at a trading, well, if you're doing what most people do, and I used to be there 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago, I was like, oh my goodness. You know, 20 years ago, I was just struggling so much. But now, things are falling into place, or they've been falling into place for the last 10 years. But even myself, right? Even myself, you know, I screw up probably 10% of the time, maybe 20% of the time. You're like, oh, I shouldn't have taken that trade. Right? I was like, oh man, should have taken that trade. That was a pretty bad trade, right? And you move on with it. But the whole thing about this is that I'm just really trying to guide you guys through is that there are some simple things that we can do to trade, right? And again, if you do need some help, you can apply for my coaching, that link in the description there. So that's what's happening with the indices right now, guys. We have had a very big move to the upside. So I'm expecting at least a little bit of a pullback out of this level through here, like a little bit of a drop through here. So maybe, you know, Jerome Powell's going to crash the market or whatever. But we've had a very, very, very strong move to the upside. And you know what's really amazing, guys? You know what's so amazing? And again, if you've been watching me for the last couple months, you would know that I was steadfast on what? This bounce, this correction right now is going to end and a strong bounce is coming. That was my story. That was my thesis, and I was sticking with that. There was no flip-flopping with me. No flip-flopping with me. But how many people that I actually respect in the industry flip-floppity glow, flippity-floppity, flippity-floppity. It's like, what? And it's just, I just see some people, they're like, and especially this day here, right? Like this day here, and especially this day here, they came out, I've made all this money, that's it, I'm short the markets, I'm cash on the sidelines, recession starting, that's it, it's all over. And then they come out a few days later and they probably lost close to $1 million. And that's one person that I know who's really, really, really famous in the finance world. Another person I know who actually I respect in the technical analysis field. He's been trading now for over 30 years. And even he got sucked in. He's like, oh, this could be the big one. This could be the big one. And I respect these guys. I respect them. I'm like, and then as this market started to rally, that particular gentleman, right, been trading for 30 years, I respect him in the technical analysis field, right? I'm not going to mention names because I'm not here to do that, but I'm just trying, and in the technical, and as this market was starting to rise, he was like, but we're still in a downward trend. I'm like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? Well, we're still in a downward trend, so therefore we could actually roll over. And he was always looking every single day. Right, look at this here. This day here, we could roll over, 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 could roll. And now look, and this day here, guess what he said? Well, traders, a little bit of a drop in the markets, but new highs are coming. Come on now. Come on now. Traders, one thing that I can teach you, you can do yourself, is this. Stop focusing on the short-term daily charts. Bring it back to the weekly chart. What is the weekly chart doing? If we are making low, significant high low, and a significant high low, if we are still above that low and it's coming down, there's at least a 70-80% probability we're going to then pick back up and continue the trend. And there's going to be that 10-20% of the time where it'll start to actually change the trend. But until that happens, that's the reason why, guys, I was so steadfast. And this is the reason why, guys, I called this, I nailed this. In fact, I've actually got money in this rally, right? And benefiting from this from one simple rule. And the reason I'm bringing this to you guys is just by one simple rule was, what's the weekly chart trend? And are we still above? Is this low here at this particular time still above this low here? Yes. This could just be another higher low. If it's not, and we start to break down, right? If it's not, and we have this low through here, let me do that again. If it's not, and we have this low through here, and we do break the low, we are no longer making higher lows. That's the time you actually have some physical, visual reasons of why something is topping out. Right? I'm really going deep in this level here, guys, because I'm just trying to really bring this home with the indices of not just focusing on like what's going to happen tomorrow. Like you're missing the big picture. You're missing the big point here, right? This is the reason why, guys, most of my trades are really successful, right? Or at least successful, right? I do have my losses. I actually had a loss today. I had a small loss, like a 2.5% loss on my account today, right? But that's one of my trades. I'm in 3 trades. One, I had a 2.5% loss, right? Small loss. And then I'm in another 2 trades right now that I've been in for a while, and they're just massively profits, massively profits. Again, I do all this live every single day, guys. If you're interested, coaching program, link in the description. I'll be able to call you to see if you're a good fit. But anyway, that's the reason why. And until that happens, so as you can see, look what happened. We did make a low here. Most people were fearful. And so if you actually want to become part of this world called trading, right, we must understand that why most people got it wrong and why did only a select few get it right. And it's not because I'm smart. It's because I've had 20 years of experiencing these types of things that happens at least once per year. At least once a year, guess what we get? Guess what, traders? Guess what they were saying back here? Guess what they were saying back here? Look at this here. Oh, that's it. The top's in, the top's in, the top's in. Okay, you may be right. You may be right. Okay, let's go to the weekly chart. Okay, so this is the last significant low through here. Okay, and we're just coming down through here. So this could just be another significant higher low in an overall big bull market. Go back to the weekly chart. Go back to the weekly chart, right? I hope you can see what I'm saying here. Anyway, moving on now to a bit of a gift for you guys. Or actually, I gave you guys this gift before, but USO is about to get crushed. Oil, guys, oil is about to get absolutely crushed right now. I'm not sure what that means for the energy sector. Maybe, just maybe, the oil market right now is telling that Trump's going to become elected because drill, baby, drill, right? And so right now, guys, oil to me is about to get crushed. Oil is about to get crushed right now. We're squeezing up this pattern through here. This is an ascending type of triangle pattern, but I've seen so many times where this actually goes to the downside. Update on the good old silver market. Now on the daily charts, guys, the silver market is still in this sort of downward phase here. We really need to see silver start to get back above probably this 31 level through here. That's the big picture there for silver for me, right? Looking at now from the weekly chart, we still, again, this weekly chart is just an up, a down. I do see that, but how that happens, not too quite sure. And then moving over now through to the gold market, right? The gold market. And even though gold is going up, we're slowly going up, right? There's no definite of buying action and so on and so forth. So you want to put a bit of a cautionary bell, or for me anyway, because we're just slowly going up through here. Look at this here. We're not really, we're not getting this, are we? We're not getting like that. We're just getting a very slow move through here. So gold, even though gold long term is bullish, guys, short term, we may be getting a little bit of a sort of a, again, there's just not a lot of strength right now when it comes to gold. And it's just this, again, yeah, there's just not a lot through there. So even that and the thing is, guys, we broke to the upside, right? If we do break back below this level through here, right? We had this resistance level all through here, and we break back above it, or break back below it. That tells us, guys, that gold could be having at least a bit of a short term drop to the downside.